Imagine if I told you the Toronto real estate market did something it hasn't done in over 2 decades. Hi, I'm Dilya Murad. I'm a real estate broker here in the Greater Toronto area. And in this video, we're diving into the twists and turns of the GTA real estate market in 2023. From record highs to surprising lows, this year has been a roller coaster. Stay tuned to find out how these changes could affect you, whether you're a buyer, seller, or just someone who loves real estate. And hey, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe for the latest market insights. Let me start off by saying that 2023 has been a year of change in the GTA real estate scene. Let me start off by giving you a quick breakdown. After reaching a peak in February of 2022, with an average selling price of $1,334,000, we saw a number of rate hikes by Bank of Canada. This resulted in a 20% drop in average prices by second half of 2022 while the inventory shot up. Then came 2023. We saw a rate hike in January and most of us thought that was the end of it. People started buying left and right and the buyer activity was back. And just like people expected, Bank of Canada did not raise rates in March and April of 2023. Average home prices went up all over GTA. To put things in perspective, for the first 5 months of 2023, we saw average prices went up by almost 10%. We were seeing multiple offers on almost every house, and people were offering on homes without conditions, just like the COVID times. But then came June of 2023. Bank of Canada raised rates once and then once more in the following month of July. And that caused average home prices to decline on a month-over-month basis and activity became almost non-existent. A lot of people thought that was a seasonal thing given it's middle of summer, and sellers were hoping for a strong fall market. So come September and October, we saw an influx of new listings. But the buyers just weren't ready for them. And we had one of the slowest fall markets in recent memory. And at the same time, the bond yields shot up, and that caused the fixed mortgage rates to go up as well. Fixed rates went over 6% with almost every lender, and some were creeping closer to 7% territory. We immediately saw a dip in average prices and activity, and all the gains that we saw in the first 5 months of the year were gone. Now, with that said, let's go over what everyone is patiently waiting for, the official numbers for 2023. And as I'm sharing these numbers, I want to touch on something that's really important. The average price points and days on the market that I'm about to share with you next are the average of every single asset class from condos, townhomes, semis, and detaches all across the GTA, being Halton region, York region, Durham region, Peel region, and the city of Toronto. So keep in mind that these figures are the stats for the entire region and might not match up with your home's specific situation. So if you're curious about what this market means for your place, feel free to book a call through the link in my bio and I'll get you data and advice tailored just for your home. The average selling price for a home in GTA in 2023 was $1,126,000. And that price is the average of all different types of homes. That represents a 5.4% decline compared to the average prices of 2022. There were 65,982 home sales in the GTA in 2023, marking it the slowest year since 2000 and a 12% drop from 2022. And I can't stress this enough. This number is really low for Toronto real estate, and I will touch on that later on. Properties took an average of 28 days to sell in 2023. Compare that to the year prior, that number was 22 days. Now you see, in comparison to 2022, average price of a home and number of homes sold both went down, while the average days it takes to sell a home went up. Now, one thing to note and that you don't see in this stat is that the first 3 months of 2022 had record number of sales and had record number of home prices. And those skewed these stats for the entire year of 2022. So if you want to be fair, if you compare the second half of 2022 to the rest of 2023, those numbers look almost identical, with 2023 had just slightly less transactions per month. So this brings to my next point. Who were the biggest losers of 2023? Well, in my opinion, there were three of them. I'm going to start off with number one: cottages and recreational properties. So naturally, when things get tough, people stop buying things they don't need. This includes things like fancy cars, luxury watches, RVs, motorbikes, and in real estate world, that could mean the fancy cottages or seasonal properties. Now, we did see at least a 20% drop in average prices in the cottage market, and the inventory is still very high. So by definition, the cottage market has definitely crashed in 2023. Number two is the condo market in Toronto. Now you see, the condo market in Toronto didn't crash when it comes to average selling prices, but we did definitely see a correction. Reason being is simple. You see, the condo market, specifically the high-rise, one-bedroom, one-plus dens in core Toronto, are heavily owned by investors. They're very investor-heavy. What happens is when the rates go up, that affects your affordability, that also affects your cash flow. So some investors went from positive cash flow to breaking even to negative cash flow. And when rates go up, these units become less attractive, so investors were offloading them and no one would buy. And towards the end of last year, there were so many condos for sale that the downtown condo market became a buyer's market when we had over 7 or almost 8 months of inventory. Number three is the assignment market. Now, in my opinion, this was the segment of the market that was hurt the most. And I can say with 100% confidence that the assignment market was a bloodbath, and it still is a bloodbath. So many people bought pre-construction during COVID, thinking they can just flip it and make quick money, and they had no plans of actually closing it, or they just couldn't close it because of these high rates, were forced to sell. And what happens when you're forced to sell something is you become desperate and you're willing to walk away from the huge deposits that you're given to the developer. And some of these sellers were walking away from hundreds and thousands of dollars of deposits, and they just want to get rid of their contract. Now, I can show you numerous examples of this, but a lot of these assignment deals don't make it to the MLS because the developers just don't allow it to be advertised in MLS. So a lot of these deals are made on WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups. So it does make it harder for us to track and the general public to really see how bad this market was. But trust me, you can go on Facebook and you can search these assignment groups. You will see a lot of desperate sellers out there. And let's shift our focus to Durham region and see how the market has performed across each city. And remember, I said earlier that the average home in GTA saw a 5.4% decline in average prices. Well, Durham region actually saw a bigger decline, and the price difference is about 8.5% compared to the year before. Durham region ended the year with an average price of $936,000, and compare that to 2022 average price. The price of a home was $1,024,000. But one thing you have to keep in mind is that Durham region saw one of the biggest spikes, if not the biggest spikes, in prices through COVID, more than any other part in the GTA, I would say. So now we are seeing a pullback that's more than the average. So if you look at the average prices of Pickering, Ajax, Whitby, Oshawa, and Clarington, you'll notice that on average, we're down about $80,000 to $100,000 if you compare it to 2022. And we're basically where we were in 2021. So if you want that breakdown for your specific home, maybe, feel free to send me a message and I'll get that information over to you. So what can we expect moving forward into 2024? Well, the one thing that seems to be certain is that Bank of Canada is looking to cut rates this year. Some economists are predicting anywhere from 0.75% to 1% by the end of the year. And if that does happen, that will naturally improve the buying power and mortgage qualification. So we could probably start to see the market shift as more buyers start to look. The second thing to note is that I did mention earlier that in 2023, we had one of the slowest years in over 2 decades. If you look at the last 20 years of the Toronto real estate market, the average number of transactions per year is usually lingers around anywhere from 85,000 to 87,000. And we just had a really slow year of 65,000 transactions last year. And the year before that was 75,000 transactions, which is also well below the average. So if you do a quick math, we're roughly 30,000 or so transactions behind than usual. And if you combine that with the record number of immigration that we've seen, my guess is that we're probably going to see an uptick in prices by the end of 2024. But hey, what do I know? So as I'm wrapping up, I have a question for you. What do you think is going to happen to the home prices in the GTA in 2024? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and whoever is right or closest to being right by the end of this year with their prediction, I have a massive gift for you. We'll talk soon. Have a great day.